We made it back in, got the vehicle delivered. No bear attacks on the way back in. I think that bear probably didn't stop running for quite a while. He sat up in that tree, probably scared to death. I saw one in Canada one time that went up a tree in front of me, and he got up there and you could tell he was just trembling in fear. I brought the cart back in because I'm going to leave it here this trip. That way when I come up next fall, I might have a walk behind mower to haul up, and I could use the extra room. It's going to get kind of muggy and rainy the next couple days, and so these bugs, even inside the cabin, might start getting kind of bad. And I remembered that when cabin partner Jim came up and tried a June trip a few years ago, he kind of come up loaded for, not for bear, but he came up loaded for big mosquitoes. And I remembered out in the shed, he left this here. Fogger, fuel, liquid. So, if need be, I might be able to vacate the mosquitoes out of the inside of the cabin over the weekend. If it gets that bad, I'll blast them in there, and then I'll go out and I'll sit out in the screen tent a while it airs out. Usually I'm sipping hot coffee and hot tea all the time, but I had these extra, they're empty bottles, but they're not Coke, but I just keep making up either a lemonade mixture or a little fruit punch type mixture, and I've been guzzling these things down quite a bit. For energy food in the trip out, I had one of Bonnie's fruit cakes. I had a half. Now I'm going to sit here and have the other half. Maybe I better work on getting my water barrel set up here to retrieve enough water that I'll have some for next fall, even if things dry out too much. That ought to do it. I take it that tree's hollow. You must have a hotel in there. Got some cornbread bacon in the oven. Had my new sound system out. Sat here and had some coffee as I listened to a set of music I really like called Revival in Belfast. I just really like playing that one here when I'm at my cabin. It's one of my cabin favorites. So, got a lot of rain forecast the next couple days, but I know before I left that with the COVID-19 problems and the processors and all that Bonnie was having a hard time finding me some roasting chicken, so she had to kind of take what was there. Well, I just put a 13.5-pound roasting chicken in the oven, so y'all come. I'm going to cook that for about 3 hours, I think. In the meantime, I get some of my other camp chores caught up. Got more rain coming. My rain barrel filled up, but I'll get the water poured out of this stainless steel milk pail and get it set out there. talked to Vonnie later, and I mentioned that how big that chicken was. She said, "Oh no, there were 2 chickens in that package." So I stand corrected. I'm not roasting the fattest chicken in the world. It's just still probably a 6.5 to 7 pound bird. So if you want to stop by, there's plenty. Bucket weighs a lot empty. Got a paper and a screen in there, so I'm all set. Just filled this wagon up. We added about 25 gallons this morning. It had some in it, but now it's clear full. I'm just going to save that for this fall for wash water. Everybody likes a little longer video, so I pulled it 30 feet instead of 15. Well, that chicken cooked. I thought I might make my rock entry a little bit bigger. Found out being here after the snow's melted, it's really a nice place to stand, and when the ticks are really bad, I come in and I strip down and have a change of clothes inside. Leave the clothes full of ticks outside if they're there, and have good ones inside. So I'll make it a little bit bigger. It's like kind of putting together a jigsaw puzzle, except there's no guarantee all these pieces will fit. And just as a general theme, I tried to make sure they were all pretty much black rock. Maybe the few reddish ones just thrown in for a little color accent. I know a lot more than needed, but I'm just playing. We got that done. It's a nice rain, will help clean it up. And we still have 2 hours to go before the chicken's done. Okay, everybody ready? Corn is looking good. Rice is looking good. Here's our dinner, all 13 pounds of it. An oversized bag of dressing that I take care of by making this foil tent. I just dump it all in there and gets a nice chicken flavoring. We're ready. Now if a bear showed up and I had this out in the stoop, I could understand it, but I've got these out here cooling before I put them in the freezer. This is what I do when a leftover chicken, I just dole it out in these Tupperware containers, and then that big one on the left is in case I have company one day. That's a double dinner. And then the little round one, I'll do stir fry with that. I got some hot mix in there to help that along. And these other ones, when I just want an easy meal, I just get them out and dump the whole thing into a big cast iron fry pan and pour some water in there and turn it up, let it steam, and it doesn't take very long at all, and it's right back to a beautiful consistency. Beautiful Monday morning after a stormy weekend. Picked up another 7/10 of an inch of rain last night. Gave us a total for the weekend of 1.5. All my rain containers, my water containers are all brimming full with good water. Except for there, no fire danger at all in the woods. That's good. We haven't had any frost up here, and so we're late enough now. I think all the blueberries and the cherries and all the raspberries, and should be a lot of good natural food out there this summer for all the animals and the food for the bears, and maybe they'll leave everything else alone. That'd be good. The rain last night did a really good job of cleaning up my new stone project. That'll be really nice. When step out of the cabin or going inside, you can keep your feet clean. And another little addition. Wasn't necessary, but I like to putter. And the subject of puttering, I'm working on peeling those logs out in the woods out there, because I want to, well, it started out, I just wanted to build a gazebo because I wanted a place that I can sleep outside and maybe have a little bit of a wall around me. Somehow, well, like with that bear the other night, I mean, that just brings it back that these things come wandering around, and I want to sleep peacefully, so I wanted to put up a gazebo. Well, then now that's kind of, I'm going to start off with get a deck with maybe with the wall coming up. I'll be able to put a screen tent on top of that for now. And over, I don't know how long it's going to be, 2-3 years. Get that, what was going to be a gazebo, now I think it's going to be that guest cabin. But I'm just going to work at it slowly. First of all, get a place that when I want to sleep outside, I can have a little security out there. That bear that came around the other night was just, well, just a warning, that you need to be careful. I looked at that bear the next morning really carefully to see if I could see any reason why it was coming into the camp like that, but it was looked like a very healthy, a large male bear. I could see no wounds, or it looked like it was, even for this time of year, it looked like it was a fairly plump, had a lot of meat on its bones. Wasn't starving whatsoever. The one thing I did notice, and I don't know about bears up here, but it was just covered thick with ticks. Now, I think a lot of them maybe let loose because the body had gone cold, but they were just crawling, and they were really thick. I mean, thousands of ticks on that bear, and I don't know if that would have had anything to do. Animals up here can die from blood loss. That's how bad they. It's been a real treat being here in early June like this, and the mosquitoes not being a problem. Now when the weather changes, they do come around. And here's the one. These bullflies are the ones that can drive me out of this country, but there's a few around, but they're not too bad either. But you leave them on there and they'll take a little square piece of hide out of you. I've seen them get on the moose, and I remember seeing a moose one day. It was trotting down the road trying to get away from him, and just this horde was behind him, and the moose's nose was like half again as big as it should be because it was all these these bullflies. See how plastered on there. They're a pretty good sized fly, so you might hear a few buzzing around here. Usually the old timers say that a good thunderstorm knocks them out for a while. Well, that storm last night probably took out some. Sure seemed to have really, oh, the air is so crisp and clear. Feels good.
Saturday night, partly cloudy. Lows 50 to 55. Sunday, mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-70s.
I really like having this little weather radio because I can kind of plan my activities around the coming weather. And I look up right now and I don't see it's a beautiful morning. It just looks like it's probably going to stretch out for days like this, but the weatherman says no. There's going to be a lot of thunderstorms late today and even in through tomorrow. Be up into the high 80s, low 90s maybe. So I think I might go out and do a walk while it's so pleasant and nice. They also talked down here about the flooding just within about 80 miles to the west. Apparently last night in that burst they got 4 to 7 inches over there. So they predicted it was going to be a turbulent weekend, and it sure was.